Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Punkify here on behalf of MMOBomb.com, and welcome back to another First Look. Today we're taking a look at Happy Wars, which is a PvP-based 15-on-15 arena-style game where players work together as a team to push forward towards the enemy base across fairly large maps using a combination of siege weaponry and special abilities of their own class, as well as abilities that require them to team up and channel them with their teammates. So it has some sort of cooperative team-based elements to it, all set on a kind of like lighthearted aesthetic style. So the game isn't very gritty at all. It's very lighthearted, small chibi characters running around slapping each other, and there's 3 classes in the game. There's the Warrior, Mage, and Cleric. Each of those has access to specific abilities and specific sort of styles of gameplay that are very necessary to winning a match in Happy Wars. So enough explaining, let's go ahead and just show you guys how it plays. I'm going to go ahead and get the game started here. Now, because this was originally an Xbox Live title from ToyLogic, and it's since been moved over to Steam, where it currently resides, the game does have some tendencies to exhibit Xbox sort of portability, in the sense that some of the icons, some of the buttons, they don't really match up with PC. You'll see some pictures, for example, in the tutorial that reference Xbox controllers buttons and not keyboard and mouse. And then you'll also find that sort of selecting some of your abilities in game can be difficult to do because it requires you to hold space and then click on them on the menu, whereas the game sort of retains an action style of gameplay in and of itself. Number of players required to start a game is 5. I've been able to get into games fairly quickly. They generally fill up almost the full capacity of 30 players. It is 15 on 15 between 2 teams, and the teams themselves are basically the same. You're just put on a relatively asymmetrical map whereby you'll want to capture specific nodes, which are towers. And these aren't towers in the normal sense like a MOBA game. They only serve really as respawn points, allowing you, let's go ahead and see if we can find a better lobby, allowing you to move further and further towards the enemy base. So it's not like a MOBA, except it is slightly like a MOBA because you do have castable abilities that are specific towards your class, and you do, as you level up, gain access to new abilities, and you of course get more powerful, and those are only levels that you gain within matches themselves. Outside of the matches though, it's very much different than a MOBA. You have character customization, whereby you can place armor and weaponry on your characters and have them sort of augment their playstyle to have certain passive attributes or traits to make them better, like additional stun effects or additional damage, maybe increased magical defense versus decreased physical defense, those sort of stat attribute changes. So it looks like we'll be starting this game with 16 players. I have seen matches up to the whole full 30, but it does seem to be a lobby-based system versus a standard, server select. So unfortunately, it does retain that element from the Xbox. One other thing that you'll notice that there isn't really much in the way of graphical settings. Granted, the game in of itself looks like this player isn't going to connect here. Let's go ahead and see if we can back out and find ourselves a new match. Granted, the game isn't that graphically intense, but because of the fact that it was on the Xbox, you really only get the options to change it to be vertical synced or not, as well as the resolution and the refresh rate. Other than that, you don't really have any options. There's some basic windowed support, but they actually say the game runs worse like that. And what I found is the game isn't very optimized for PC in general, and you'll notice I run predominantly below 30 frames per second consistently when recording. While not recording, it is consistently 30, 32, but it never goes above that. It's sort of like frame locked, if you will. Man, we're just not finding this. I'm going to go ahead and edit right here. Oh, looks like the game is finally started there. I was about to do a edit and jump right in. But you'll notice here on the controls, it's very simple. You have your Waza to move. You can attack with the left mouse button, and depending on which class, you can either guard or shoot with the right. And then you can use your skills with 1 through 3 on the keypad. These are not rebindable as far as I can see. Let's go ahead and back. I'll start off with the Warrior class here. These aren't rebindable, so you do have to, you're kind of stuck with using those. Looks like we're doing some little bit of a team skill. That's an example of a team skill there. Usually gives you additional buffs or it allows you to get transported, depending on which class is actually producing the team skill. And that's one thing that's very interesting about this game, sort of unique, is that there are some team skills that require multiple people in order for it to cast. And these team skills are really strong, generally speaking. They're, you know, magical arrows, or calling down meteor strikes, or teleporting to one of the tower bases here. As a warrior, I'm pretty much your standard hack and slash. I'm going to come in here. The goal is to basically come up here and construct your own tower, and that tower allow people to, of course, oh god, see if we can back up here. I'm getting slammed around, unfortunately, and taken out there. Oh no, I'm alive! Holy crap! How did I become alive? So they're trying to finish this tower here. Now I can deconstruct that tower simply by hitting E to deconstruct it. Unfortunately, they got to this tower really quickly, so now they're on top of us already. Let's go and use this 3 here. I'll punch him back. Now, depending on what armor you're wearing, you may gain additional effects like... How's that guy not dying? We have like so many people on him. Oh no, Happy Miracle is getting launched on us. We're all turned into flowers, and when you're flowers, you can't do anything. We got chopped. We all got chopped down. Holy crap. There's a prime example right there of why team skills are so strong. Unfortunately, to get a team skill, you have to have it available here, and I have yet to level up. Sometimes, depending on the class, other team skills will come innately at level 1. There we go. So as you notice, I already leveled up, and I have a secondary skill I can choose, which is Spinning Blade. So I'm able to spin around. I can hold that down. That'll use some NP, and that'll allow me to just spin to win there and deal some AoE damage. So we really need to take out that tower. For us to take out this tower, that way they don't actually respawn. And I need to try to get close enough to take out the tower. Slow down just a little bit there. You may notice that sometimes I'll get additional bonus effects on my attacks. These bonus effects are quite nice in that Castle's big tower automatically... Whoa! They killed our tower so fast. Holy crap. What they actually had to do was get through the gate and then destroy the big tower that we spawned near. Usually that takes a bit. Unfortunately, in this case, it happened really fast. The enemy team was very well coordinated, and they got in our base almost immediately. Well, there's what happens when you lose. You get tied up there, and then you'll get some happy stars, which is the main currency in the game, and sometimes you'll get some loot as well. So I got an empty can here. As you can see, my max HP level up 1 basically means that I get some additional max HP for wearing that. Each of your items also levels up as you continually use them, and as they level up, they'll gain additional stats, sometimes additional abilities as well. The better rarity of the item, the more stats, and of course the more effects it could potentially earn. Alright, so at this point I kind of have to wait a little bit here before I'm able to continue on. They had all these people that were clearly looked like they were lobbied up. They all had max amount of stars. Executed that very quickly here. Alright, so that was a basic match in a really quick nutshell, but it didn't show half of the features available. In the meantime, though, I can go ahead and show you a little bit of the character customization before we jump back in. If we go to something like the Warriors here, you're able to select different weaponry that you have access to, and these weaponry give you different things like additional attacks, or maybe just like an additional ability like Smash Power Up, but this one only has 40 damage. This thing here, 308, anti-material level up 2 and 1. That's pretty awesome there. That's a pretty good attack weapon there. 408 versus the 100 of the magic stick. Anti-material, I believe, means that I'm able to take down things quicker. But unfortunately with the game, it doesn't really convey some of that information to you. You will be able to hit the buff list and sort of look at what buffs you have, but you won't be able to see what those buffs exactly do. So I have this anti-magic guard and guard power, which essentially I'm assuming give me additional guard against regular attacks and increased attacks. Here's some of the armor I have here. You'll notice if I choose to go with this armor, I get a really good boost to my magical defense. However, I lose a pretty decent chunk of my normal defense, so I just like to keep it balanced there. So you'll notice you can do this for practically everything here. Getting additional HP, but I lose defense by using that. Don't really feel like doing that. And currently I have this flag equipped, which allows me to respawn a little bit faster. So that's a little bit of the customization options right there. You can do that for each of the class, and you can do it up to 3 times. So you have basically 3 loadouts for each class. A fair amount of customization, and on top of that, you can level up each item as well by just taking it in here and choosing some additional items to sort of place into it. You know, take them down, you know, deconstruct them, and use them to push the item to the next level. From what I found, it uses some, or there is some pretty decent benefits to it. Some items themselves are actually better for doing it. For example, this one has item XP level up, so it will basically give me all the experience necessary to level up an item without having to use a ton of items to do so. And I thought I was going to use it to, let's see, where was it? Let's go ahead then, and I want to use the Axe of the Ancients here, and I'll use the Copper Saw, and I'll use the Discarded Club. I'll just basically use all of these here. Actually, can I just do it? No, I gotta use both. Use all of that, and it requires these Happy Stars to level up. There's also Happy Tickets. Happy Tickets is the cash shop currency you can gain in bulk by using real money, and that allows you to do any of these upgrades. It also allows you to purchase item packs, where you get a random amount of items, much like if you bought like a card pack in a TCG. But you are able to get everything in the game through the in-game currency as well. So it kind of leaves it up to you to determine whether or not the game is pay to win. It certainly allows you to get a lot of good items really quickly and kind of blaze through the progression really willy-nilly without having to spend much of the in-game currency at all. So if you have a lot of money to spend, you can progress really fast, and that progression is noticeable in-game. The other way you get items as just a normal player would just be to use the Happy Spinner, where essentially you can bet up to 900 rather, by clicking these items here to add chances of you gaining a particular item of a particular slot. So this is, for example, weapon or shield or armor. I can choose to just basically roll for one of those types, or I can put it all in to one particular type. Let's go back there. I accidentally clicked out of that. I can roll for one particular type and stack my odds just for weapons or just for shields, essentially. So if I wanted to, let's go ahead. I really need a better helm. We'll go ahead and use some 900 Happy Stars. You get Happy Stars at a decent rate if you win, but nothing beats, of course, using the cash shop currency. And I got, of course, just another empty can. So you can get a lot of really, really crummy items. I have gotten really great items from the item pack. It gives you 1 item pack to start with. Oh, there we go. So I got a candle head. So this is actually a really good item. Level 6 here, magic napalm +1. Definitely something I want to put on the mage. So go ahead and exit out of that. Sometimes you get a really great item, but it has negative effects on it. And in order to remove the negative effects, you got to, you guessed it, use the currency, the happy coins, to remove that modification that's so negative. And what I found is, where is the item that I have that's pretty great, but it has that. What I found is that this one, magic defense down level 3, so it takes 120 off my magic defense. To get that removed, it actually costs quite a lot. You do a item modification here. Yes. You would go down to the casual cloak, and to remove this, it requires 4,000 of your happy stars to do it. Or you can just, of course, pay tickets. Always with the tickets, very easily. Alright, so let's go ahead here and equip this, and then we'll go into yet another game here. So I got a good cloak, it looks like. Already got that. Alright, it's a hat, that's right. And of course, the character customization makes it look very, cutesy, and there's a lot of nice variety in the armor and the gear that you can actually get in game. So your character can look fairly unique, and depending on how you want to play it. I should note you also sometimes get things like happy tickets and extra coins by completing these tutorials or these missions that you'll see here. This one, go to dress and power up and perform an item modification, will get me 5 of those. And those each can then, of course, be used to purchase the tickets, or purchase rather these card packs. However, I don't know how often you get those missions. You do get a lot sort of up front, but oftentimes games will usually give you a lot of those things up front, so you can experience it all and then promptly have you pay subsequently. Alright, so we're connecting everything here. The loading process is quite long, both before the game and after the game matches, and I think that's just a byproduct of it using the old Xbox Live style of, you know, synchronization and playing. From what we've little seen, have I enjoyed the game? Am I enjoying the game in its current state? There is certainly some promise, and I definitely feel that there is a lot of different kinds of strategies you can employ if you were to play it on a competitive level, if there was a competitive level. However, at this point, because of the fact that it's very simplistic in a lot of ways, in the current Steam version, I understand that the Xbox version is a little bit ahead. It makes it hard for people to, you know, feel like there's a lot of cohesion. There isn't really much text talk. It's all through just emotes that you can get in the game. So you would really have to have a pre sort of set up community in order to coordinate and pull off something that you saw like in the last round, where they just kind of got behind us and didn't play like a normal match. They sort of used a secondary tactic. Go ahead and just connect with the players here. Let's go ahead and make a slight little edit, and we'll go ahead and jump in when the matches get going and show off the other classes. Alright, that took quite a while to start up. We'll go ahead and show off the Mage to get started here. On this map, there is a total of 5 different... Ooh, I want to do this. How do I want to... No, was unable to get the buff. On this map, there's a total of 5 different pillars, or basically statues that you have to erect. Let's go this way here. Now I've got a couple buffs that I can apply to people. I do have to actually sit in place to do it, unfortunately. I'll go ahead and add the cheer here. I think this gives everybody a buff here, some experience. So it automatically gives us a level up. Nice there. So we can quickly get to a higher level, making sure that we get more skills available to us much faster, because these skills are really going to be important to have, especially in these fights here. Alright, so let's get this started here. First thing I need to do is select this skill. Oh god, you get knocked all over the place to start with. Alright. Let's knock this guy. Let's knock this guy back here. Now, as the mage, I do, instead of having a block with my shield, my right click actually will fire my currently selected sort of magic type. In this case, because I have an enchantment of wind, it actually will give me a special right click attack, which will do AoE damage and knock people back. Very useful. You can see there. Knock this guy off, maybe. Get off there. Oh, he's getting healed up. Now, there are clerics in the back there healing them up, but it's alright, we did overcome that. Now, I can go ahead and say, okay, I want to use my skill as well, my ultimate skill. So I can come here and be like, alright, everybody, get on here. So we'll do some rain of arrows really quickly. And this rain of arrows, as you can see, will just rain down on top of them. You can individually control it here. Try to get at people from afar. Oh god! Don't want to fall off. I want to get this buff. Oh, did not get the cheer. Dang it. So I didn't get the leveled up. Unfortunately, there's quite a lot of them here because of the fact that they can respawn so quickly on top of that. You'll often get these huge sort of fights in front. Oh man, I'm getting run over. Now, because I put the electricity down, I may be able to knock them down. Oh, I knocked them down here. A couple people fell into the ground. Looks like I actually made a guy fall off, which is awesome. The cleric goes ahead and heals me up. I'm okay down here. There's an erected turret, which is nice. That's something that a cleric can place down. Looks like we'll have to go this way. Some of our brethren are dying up there. Now, I did get another special ability here, which is Meteor Storm. I'm definitely going to select that. Can I walk through this and not die? Looks like that is the case. I have to scoot my way around. I can pull up the map. You're able to see we have 3 out of the 5 turrets there. We're slowly pushing them back. Walk through this goo. Hopefully this isn't... it does a little bit of damage to me. I see. Okay. Let's come back over here. Now, it does use your Xbox Live name, so you notice it says Spunks88, Xbox Live. If you don't really want that, unfortunately, I haven't found a way to change that. It doesn't really seem to take into account... behind enemy lines. It doesn't really seem to take into account... your Steam ID, unfortunately. Ooh, can we get behind enemy lines here? Oh my gosh, they don't want them to see me. Let's just go ahead and come up here. Hey, buddy. Let's go ahead and get them off of me. Get off of me. Oh god, no, don't. I went all the way around there only to drown. No, in the lava, unfortunately. Alright, it does give you a little bit of I'm going to use the Cataclysm. Let's try this one more time here. I like to use the Cataclysm ability. Does quite a lot of damage. Not really sure how to control it perfectly. There we go. I see it here. Used it, but it didn't. I don't think it actually works. I don't think we actually got people to do it. Oh god, I wanted to do it. Sea of Flame. Alright. Let's see if we can do it now here. Alright, so put that down. That'll be an electrical thing and it'll hit people away, which is nice. I did get a kill for that. He just basically, oh god. Get him before he kills me. Nice Cleric kill there. Knocked back. A little bit of a stun. I have to stumble from that. Oh god, don't die over. Getting a lot of assault here. Let's see if we can pull off a skill, guys. Knock that guy off. Yes. I defeated Wars as well. Awesome there. Alright, so if we hold this down, we'll be able to deconstruct theirs and rebuild ours. Notice they rebuild it quite quickly here. Alright, so let's go ahead and use our skill here. Come on! No! Don't interrupt my awesome ability of Cataclysm. Lost my special ability on my right click, so unfortunately now it's just a normal fireball. Come on, we can pull through this. Put down an electrical storm there. Oh my gosh! Got absolutely blown up there. I can see who actually killed me here, as you'll note. It doesn't really give you a lot of time, unfortunately, though. Let's go ahead and pick the Cleric. Now, the Cleric, in my opinion, in its current state, is one of the harder classes to play just because of how you play. You sit in one spot and you cast your abilities here. So you'll have to, you know, basically get locked into place and hopefully get a heal off, essentially. Alright, so this is a heal. I also have Sanctuary, set up an ally recovery area. I'll put that there. People can so get back to that. And as you can see, because of the fact that I have to constantly switch between the skills, it makes it actually pretty difficult, especially if you want to do like a switching of skills really quickly. And I think that would be mainly just one of the biggest problems with the game, is the fact that it's really hard to really quickly switch between your skills unless you get really good at it. And I think I think it's mainly just because it suffers from a system that, let's go ahead and greet them because I couldn't get up the screen. It suffers from a system that is just a little bit too convoluted when you're actually trying to pull off these, you know, multifaceted abilities to keep having to greet people. Alright, so let's go ahead, add on the Meteor Storm. We'll try to get it here. Got some disruption. And I like the fact that they can disrupt you by running in and starting to knock people off as they attempt to get the setup going. Oh, knock that guy up in the air, getting a couple of kills. Nicely done there. And I have, what are my other abilities here? Sacred Armor, blocks him a certain amount of damage. I'll take that. Alright, Meteor Storm. There it comes, here it comes. Meteor Storm's coming in, doing all kinds of damage there. Really letting us hold on to this. Launching another Meteor Storm. There's no way. Oh, okay, so when Meteor Storms get launched, the warriors are able to use a special blocking ability that allows them to negate the damage. It's kind of like a counter, essentially. It's pretty useful, although it does require, of course, a steady execution from your allies. Just knocking through those guys. Got both of them. What is my other thing here? Let's get the dash. Alright. Alright, let's use my dash here. Give them a dash. Make them go a little bit faster. And again, with the Cleric, it's mainly like a melee class, almost like a paladin, if you will. The problem just being that it's kind of a little bit hard to kind of keep up with your allies, at least starting. You know, maybe as you continue to play, it'll get easier. But to continually heal them up here, I don't know why I keep pushing that. Continually heal them up, it does require a little bit of work, and it does automatically just if there's no one around. Nice, got a Sacred Song there. I don't know if we actually got the benefit of that. I think we're still in the midst of it. I think we have like some super buff now, though. Yeah, look how much my HP is actually going up. That's pretty awesome. Nice little buff there. Giving them some heals. Give them some, God, we're like the tankiest people ever. Alright. Let's go ahead and get some heals. Trying to get to people I need to get some heals to. I'm launching another meteor storm so quickly. Now, usually as the Cleric, there's also spots on the ground that you can place equipment. Man, what a destruction there. A minute, 20 seconds left. We're probably going to win. If you don't actually get into the enemy's base... There we go. If you don't actually get into the enemy's base, it'll just go by whoever has the most towers before the win. So in this case, we have the most. We have 4-1. So currently, we are in quite the lead. Alright, so now we can summon these materials here. I can do that, and then I'm able to build a ballista. Only clerics can do this. Now, they can stop me. They can actually destroy my equipment, unfortunately. And I got killed by a dual-wielding bag of warriors, I guess. Let's go back to the mage here. Only 14 seconds, though. We're probably going to get the win. When we get the win, the enemy, of course, will be transported into the base on spikes. Like the dogs they are. Everybody else is just, unfortunately, have to flee around, scurrying, run away. Fear my awesome electrical staff of doom. I'm gonna come over here. One thing I would have liked to see, or I wish they would have added, is some kind of like in-game boss or some type of NPC. I do know that the Xbox Live version had a recent update which added a sort of defend the keep style mode. Lightning strike, interesting. Patchwork hat, I'll take that. They did add sort of like a defense mode where you and others would defend against a bunch of NPCs that would come after you, try to wave and attack you. And some of those may have been like larger monsters, more brutish and boss-like in nature. But that is the, of course, Xbox version. The current PC version doesn't seem to have that feature. It just has this standard mode that you're seeing here. There are several maps, about 5 or 6 maps available, and each of those maps have different weapons available that you can create or craft if you're playing, of course, the Cleric. And then, of course, they have varying sizes with different tower setups. And so there is some diversity there. And combined with the fact that you have all of the craftable items that you can sort of, get and then combine with the different, stats, what have you, there is a pretty good amount of variance, I feel, with what you can create. Now, that is just from my first impressions, of course. And the more you go into it, the more it may actually find out to be pretty standard, and there may be sort of like a generic style of play that's like accepted as the best way of playing. I haven't played enough, of course, to get the balance situated with that yet, so I have no idea what's balanced in terms of weaponry or items and what's not. But that being said, I do like the fact that there is a good amount of diversity here. The only thing that I'm really just concerned about is the fact of how easy it is to get everything so quickly and progress so quickly simply by paying items. If you don't want to use those old items to build or better or improve or upgrade your weapon, you can just simply use those bucks, and that's a straight form of progression, increasing the speed of progression here. And unfortunately, that's a very big red flag. I like the fact that they give you a seemingly decent amount of this currency, and you can use that on this happy spinner to get what appears to be occasionally some good items, and you have some choice over what type of items you may or may not get. There is a nice sort of like feeling like you contribute to that, but again, this isn't a one-to-one. You're not buying an item, you're buying the chance at an item that may be something you would want. Just the chance. Awakening armor, KO rate down to level 2. I don't know what that means. I would hope it would be something good. Perhaps better kill ratio. Who knows? There's no real description of that. So the PC version definitely needs some tweaking. I would really wish to see some tweaking done to the keyboard controls, in particular with the abilities. Maybe it's better with a gamepad. I have yet to try it on PC with a gamepad. But there have been some issues where the interface just wasn't really working well with keyboard and mouse. Take that in, with a grain of salt, of course. Everybody's mileage depends on what you like in terms of your keyboard and mouse setup and your overall gameplay setup as well. Overall, though, the Xbox version does have some more in-depth leaderboards and a little bit of like a ladder system. There are leaderboards in this game as well. You'll be able to see everybody's rank, but as you can see, people have been playing a pretty good amount, 136 or so. There's quite a lot of plays. There is a good community behind the game, and the community seems to be one that's carried over from the Xbox version. So servers are not deserted. It does take a little bit to get into them right now, and you do have to work through the, of course, Xbox Live account issue. But overall, if you're interested in this type of gameplay, then I would definitely give it a try. There's a decent amount of depth here, and certainly enough, I think, to warrant at least a first look of it yourself and get your own first impressions. That's going to be my first impressions, though, guys, and until next time, I'll see you later.